Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. Today in this project, it's a Dollar Tree DIY, pretty much anyway. And I'm using one of these Easter trucks from the Dollar Tree. And I bought like 3 of them that had eggs in the back and 3 of them that had carrots in the back. So I'm going to focus on the one that has the eggs in the back because it's an easier shape to do with what I'm thinking of how I want to change it. I never got around to upgrading these for Easter season, but I did buy these before the whole COVID-19 thing closed everything down. So I am crafting with my stash. So what I did is I took off the hanger, I took off this wooden part at the bottom, and I filled all 3 of those or 4 of those holes with wood filler. Then I sanded it down and I painted it, and I sanded off some of the glitter and took off the bunny tail. I didn't worry about getting all of the glitter off because if I got off what was loose, and if you paint thick enough with chalk paint, it'll fill in. So what I did is I took 2 coats of chalk paint, really thick chalk paint actually, and it's so thick that it crackled over here, but I don't see the stripes and the polka dots from the glitter. It covered over that. I knocked off the top edge of it, but you could still see it through the first coat of paint. But on the second coat of paint, I kind of slathered it on there a little bit, probably thicker than I should have, but it did smooth out. And then I sanded the rougher edges and touched up where I needed to touch up. So on one of the trucks, I am going to go ahead and paint it, and I've just kind of drawn out the lines using the original as my guide for the fenders and the wheels and whatnot. And if you are doing these and looking for something to help you make this circle, the lid to the 16-ounce Waverly chalk paint is the exact size of that wheel. So you can use that as a pattern to trace around, which is what I did. Okay, and then on the other one, I'm going to probably do decoupaging on this one, but I went ahead and painted it with the white just so I would have a good clean base and so that all of the raw edges would be sealed in. So I'm going to put the decoupage one aside for right now, and what I'm going to do is make this like a 2-part video. I'm not sure if I'll actually post 2 separate videos or if I'll just say the first half is the painted one, the second half is the decoupage one, and then you can look and see and fast forward through to whatever you are wanting to do. Okay, but do make sure that you get your edges sealed. And I also painted 2 coats and sanded off on the little piece that was at the bottom that said Happy Easter. And I did paint all the sides of it just because I wanted it to be sealed up, so it wouldn't, hoping that it won't warp so much if it's sealed. Okay, so the color I'm going to choose for this one is, I think I'm going to go with the red farm truck. Okay, so I'm going to paint everything out but here because it's really hard to paint over red. So I'm going to go ahead and paint everything red, get the wheels painted black, and do so on both sides. I was kind of drawing in over here trying to figure out what I wanted to do, but I'm not sure. And I'm trying to decide, do I want the slanted fender that makes it look more old-fashioned or the more squared off fender? I'm still deciding on that. And if I go with the slanted fender, I think I need to slant this one as well. So I was just kind of playing around with it. You can always erase pencil, which is nice. It erases quite easily off of chalk paint. So I decided to go with the straight out red, which is the crimson red from Waverly chalk paint from Walmart. I was also considering this more orangey rhubarb. Let me show you what it kind of looks like. This is the straight red. This is the rhubarb. It's kind of a rusty orange. I was contemplating that, but I think I just want to go red. This will cover with just 1 coat. Alright, so I'm going to put this guy aside to dry. Alright, now that my red truck is dry, I've taken the masking tape off of where I was thinking about doing lemons, but I think I'm going to do flowers instead, make it a flower truck. So I'm going to mask off the red so while I'm painting the flowers, it doesn't get all messed up. I'm going to do a quick coat of green over all of this, and then my flowers will go on top of it. I've decided I'm only going to paint one side of the truck because, well, it's kind of silly to paint two. You only see one side. So I took this one side and that's what I did. So I'm using Waverly's Fern Color in green. And I don't care if I get full coverage on this or not. This is going to be kind of like become the leaves, the background color. And this is going to become a flower wagon full of all different kinds of flowers. That'll get painted, and I won't have to worry about painting the leaves on each flower because they'll just be implied. I'm not looking for perfection and individually screened little bits. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the edges of these eggs, the original eggs, green. Okay, and I'm going to leave that masking tape on there because as I paint my flowers, I don't want them falling over. And then after it's all said and done, I might go back in and touch up a few flowers that kind of hang over the edge. But I am going to be putting, I'm planning on making sideboards for the trucks. So, because I think country trucks, farm trucks, they need to have little wooden sideboards on them. Alright, so I just need to let this green dry and then we can just have fun with colors. So everything is dry on this truck now, and I'm going to start with painting the flowers that are going to fill this up. And I'm going to have to be a little bit creative because these are egg shaped and I'm going to have to make them look like flowers. So I'm going to start with the pink because I want some pink roses. And I have one of these Martha Stewart daubers. They're used for ink, but I don't like them so much for that. So I'm going to stamp some circles, and I'm going to give it just a little twist just to fill it in a little more solid. I am dabbing it off onto my palette, and I am going to go ahead and leave just a little tiny bit of space, not a lot, in between them. These are going to become roses. And then I also want some red roses. So I'm going to grab just a piece of tissue I have here. This is the only dauber I have that I can use for this, and I don't want to take the time to wash it because then it has to dry. So if I get a little pink swirled into my red, I'm okay with that concept. And I'm going to put red roses up here. That's where I'm going to leave the red roses at. And for now I'm done with my dauber, so I'm just going to put it down. This is just a dowel. It's probably 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to take it and dip it into my yellow. I'm going to leave these kind of spaced apart because these are going to become the centers of some flowers. I'm going to get a very tiny little brush and dip it into the lavender, and I'm going to push down right on the edge of the yellow and just pull away. And if some of the yellow drags up, I am totally okay with that. I kind of actually want that. And when it's all done, I'll probably go back and redo the centers. And there's another technique you can use with a pointy like a bamboo skewer. So you put it down and then you drag it to the middle and you dip your tip every single time. Kind of trying to make a little like forget-me-not type looking flower. And then we're going to just do random little posies, all of the colors. Okay, so I have the end of a paintbrush that's kind of flat, I think that will make a better posy. I'm just dipping it end of my brush in and making a 5-dot flower. So you just kind of go around in a circle, leaving the center open, and that's where you'll dab your center color in. Some of these are going to peel off because they're over the tape, and I'm okay with that. I'm aware of that. I just want them to look like they're supposed to be there. Make sure you use plenty of yellow. It brightens it up. Overlap some of your other flowers a little bit because that is what would happen in the back of a flower truck. Okay, where's my little brush? Back to the little brush. Adding in some purple. I want to restamp the yellow centers. I'm going to take my skewer and I'm going to touch the centers of my little posies, not the yellow ones obviously. Alright, and then I'm going to take my black Sharpie and I'm just going to draw a curlicue in the middle of my rose. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, but I think you get the gist that these are roses. I don't think those look so much like Easter eggs anymore. Alright, now I need to do the center of my wheels. And for that I'm going to be using the Waverly Super Premium steel color. This is not chalk paint, this is acrylic. And I'm just looking for the right size circle. I'm not pushing down hard because I don't want any of that other color that's in the dauber to come through. So now I'm going to grab my black marker and I'm going to color in the bumper piece. And I'm going to color the sides of it as well. Also, this part back here, and I'm bringing it around because the bumpers usually wrap around in the back. Very slowly and carefully. Now, to save myself some heartache, I'm going to let this completely dry before I go any farther because I know me and I will make a mess of it accidentally. So I'm going to stop right there until all the flowers are completely dry. My truck has dried and I'm just been kind of sketching the lines that need to go on it. Okay, my truck is dried. I pretty much sketched most of the lines that need to go on it. I need to finish up the door. I'm going to should be a running board across the bottom here. And then the door kind of goes up. And we need a door handle. Alright, I just need to draw those lines in. And we'll be ready to go. Line my fenders. Color in the running board area. There's always a little lip or roll down area of the truck bed, it seems. I'm just going to draw that in. That truck is pretty much done and ready to get its stand. I need to make a sign for the door, and we're going to make sideboards for the back. Okay, so I'm kind of messing around with trying to figure out how to put sideboards on this truck without completely covering up my flowers. So I've marked one of these jumbo craft sticks because they're longer than the regular popsicle stick size, and they are the right length. But if I put 2 of them on there, I'm going to lose a lot of the flowers. So I'm going to see what I can do about cutting one in half. I do not know if this will work or not, but I'm going to use my X-Acto knife, and I've got another craft stick under here just to help hold my ruler from tipping back and forth. Okay, well, tried to cut it and the whole craft stick decided to move. Ooh, maybe. Okay. It's not exactly in half, but it's close. Just gonna sand the cut edge, and then we'll see what we got. And I'm also thinking that this needs to be cut in half as well. I'm gonna grab out my brand new cutters. I saw these on Latina Next Door, I believe. Yami, I think, was the one who had these. They're just these great pliers, and they cut things very well. Okay. So now, if I put these up to be my sideboards, and I use these and these, I think that looks better, and I can still see the flowers coming through. That was what I wanted to have happen, was be able to see the flowers. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. I just feel like farm trucks just need to have sideboards. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the back of my stick. And I'm going to line it up with the bottom of the black line. And then my cut pieces. This one's kind of long. I'm going to lay it down. Actually, I probably should just put the glue on there, because I put glue all the way across this and I did not need to. Okay, down a little bit. And that is that. And then we need to make the stand. Remember the piece we painted before that was the bottom of the sign? Now we need to glue the truck so that it stands up. And for that, we need some tumbling tower blocks. So I'm going to put glue on the tower block. Just a line of glue down. I'm going to stand up my truck, and then I'm going to center it on the wheel and push it into the truck. And I'm making sure that it's making contact with my table. I'm going to do the same on the front tire. Totally paint the back of this and make it look pretty. I will probably go back and do that at a later date. I just want to get this done. Okay, it's still a little wobbly. So I'm going to take a second towering block and double it up. You could do wood glue on block to block. I wouldn't use wood glue for attaching it to the truck, just because. And then the reason I'm using two is it's going to give me more of a gluing surface as well to get it to the base. If you don't want your base to be white, you can paint it whatever color you want. You can you could cover it in moss, whatever. So the side that said Happy Easter on it, I'm putting that down as the bottom. And then I've got all of this area on the tumbling tower blocks that I can glue. So I'm just going to put a big wad of glue on both ends and center it and stick it down. And voila, this truck is done and it stands up on its own. Oh, no, we're not. We have to put the sign on now. Alright, so I painted a square or a rectangle because I was going to put it on, but I really wanted it to be round. So I took a lotion lid and traced a big circle, and I took a little circle and traced the middle, and then I lettered my Honey Hollow Flower Farm wording around the circle, and then wrote flower in cursive across the middle. So now I just need to erase all of my lines. And usually, if you don't make your lines too terribly dark, they erase pretty well off of the chalk paint. Just make sure that it's completely dry before you attempt to erase it over. Alright, it's not the best looking sign on the planet, but there it is. So this has been my Little Red Flower Farm truck for spring and summer. The colors I used will get me all the way through summer. Let me know if you have one of these trucks laying around from your Easter decor and what you might be repainting yours to be, or if you're going to leave it for Easter. If you like this project, please give it a thumbs up and tell me what you think about it. Alright, this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.